All right, guys, so here are our notes for parallel and perpendicular lines. First, I want you to do these 4 problems on your own. This is pretty much review. You're just finding the slope, and then you're writing the equation. So I want you to just pause the video for a second, work it out, and then I want you to press play once you think you have it to see if you got it right. All right, so I'm going to pick my 2 points, which they gave me. So we know slope is rise over run. So I'm going to draw my little triangle here. And I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4. And over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is going to be -4 over 5. Now we know when we write an equation, we can use our slope-intercept form. We can use point-slope form. I think for this, it's easier to do our slope-intercept form. So our b is going to be 3. So our equation will be y equals -4 over 5x plus 3. Okay. Now here I have a table. I'm going to pick 2 points. So it may be easier to pick points that are not decimals, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you do, it's going to work out the same. So from -2 to 0, that's +2. And from 3 to 2, that's going to be -1. So our slope, we use y over x. So I have -1 over 2. Then if we look, they actually gave us the y-intercept there. I know that because I have an x value of 0. So my equation is going to be y equals -1/2 x plus 2. All right. Now here you have your vertical line. So if we remember our Hoy-Vux that I taught you guys about, we have vertical lines, have an undefined slope with an x equals equation. And if you forget, you can still pick 2 points and use your slope formula, which let me put that down just in case you guys forgot. But yeah, you can pick your 2 points and find the formula if that's easier. But we know from the jump that the slope of a vertical line is going to be undefined. And our equation is going to be x equals -2 because it's going straight through -2 on the x-axis. All right, then our horizontal line, we use our Hoy part. So horizontal lines have a 0 slope y equals equation. So let's go ahead and put that our slope is 0. Again, you can pick 2 points and do your formula if that works out better for you. But from here, my line is going through 2 for my y-intercept. So my equation is going to be y equals 2. Okay. Now, let's move on to what we're learning today. So parallel and perpendicular lines, which you've seen before. There are 2 lines that don't intersect. So I'm just going to do a little rough sketch here. Parallel lines do not intersect. Okay, perpendicular lines will intersect, and it has to intersect at a 90-degree angle. Let me do that again. Okay, so if it crosses, like let's just say it crosses and it's not a 90-degree angle, these are not perpendicular lines. Those are just intersecting lines. Okay, but perpendicular have to cross at a 90-degree angle. So what we're doing today is writing the equation of that line. Okay, so when you write the equation, your parallel lines will have the same slope. Okay, so if I'm writing my equation, or I'm trying to get my equation, let's say my equation is 2x plus 3. Okay, and I say that new line is going to have the same slope. I'm going to first pull out my slope, which is m. Then they're going to give me some type of point that represents the point that they wanted to go through. Okay, so my slope for this one is 2, and it'll have a different y-intercept. So, and let me say this too, they may not give you a slope-intercept form equation. They may give you standard form. Okay, which means I have to actually solve. I can't just say that the slope is 2. I have to solve for y. So let's solve for y by subtracting 2x from both sides. Okay, then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And then I have y equals 2 minus 2 over 3x. So our slope, if they gave me standard form and I solved, it would be m equals negative 2 over 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the example. It says, write the equation of a line parallel to the line y equals 4x plus 2 that goes through the point 2, 5. So first step, identify the slope. So my equation is in point slope intercept form. So my slope is going to be 4. Then from there, you're going to use the given point. Okay. So again, I'm keeping my slope the same. So it's going to stay 4. And then I'm going to use point slope form. Okay. So my slope, that's going to go here. We're going to call that 2 our x1. Maybe I should do that a little smaller. So our 2 is going to be our, it's not working with me today. That's going to be our x1, and our y1 is going to go there. So my equation is going to be y minus 5 equal 4 times x minus 2. Okay, that's our equation in point slope form, and most likely they're going to write it in slope intercept form. So we still want to solve that out. So we're going to have 4 times x, that's going to be 4x. We have 4 times negative 2, that's going to be negative 8. We're going to bring down our left side. Then we're going to have plus 5 on both sides. And I have y equals 4x minus 3. And this will be the equation of the line that's parallel to the given line that they gave me. Okay. Now, one thing I want to do before we move on is I want to go to Desmos so you can actually see what's going on here. Okay, so go to Desmos really quick. And you're going to just type in the equation that they gave you from the get-go. Okay, so my equation was y equals 4x plus 2. And that's my graph. So that's my original equation. Then I'm going to add in a second function of the answer that I got, which was 4x minus 3. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type in y equals 4x minus 3. Okay. So as you see, my lines are parallel. So far, so good. But we do also have to make sure it goes through the given point they gave us. So I'm going to create a third tab here. And I'm going to type in a point. And you can just use parentheses. And it'll plot the point for you. Okay. So if I'm right, that purple line should be going through the point 2,5, which it is. So that means that I'm right. So this is the equation of the line that's parallel to y equals 4x plus 2 and goes to the point 2,5. All right. And you can also do this in a TI Inspire if you have one. You'll just press menu 5-1 to trace that point. All right. Let's go on to perpendicular, the fun part. So again, perpendicular lines will cross at a 90-degree angle. And the slopes will be opposite reciprocal. Okay, a lot of people earlier forgot what that word means. Reciprocal means that you flip the fraction. Okay, so if I had, let's say I had 3 over 4, that reciprocal would be 4 over 3. Okay, if I had 2 over 5, their reciprocal will be 5 over 2, so on and so forth. Okay, Or if I had 1/2 and I flipped it, that would be 2/1, which is just 2. Okay. Now, when we say opposite, opposite has to do with our negative and positive. So when I find the opposite reciprocal, I also have to make the operation the opposite. So if I started off with 3/4, that's going to be -4/3. If I start off with 2/5, that's going to be -5/2. If I start off with positive 1/2, that's going to be -2. Okay. Or if I start off, let's say I started off with a negative. Let's say I start off with -3. That's going to be positive 1/3. Okay. So let's look at an example, which, like I said, if I have an equation, let's take the same equation we had. If I had y equals 2x plus 3, I will first identify that slope, which is 2, but then I have to change it to the opposite reciprocal, which will be start off as, let's put it over 1. So I'll have 1/2 because I flipped it, and then we're going to make it the opposite. So our opposite reciprocal slope will be -1/2. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and look at it. It says write the equation of the line that is perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x plus 2 that goes to the point 4, 1. So first step, and it's the same steps as the parallel one. You just do the opposite reciprocal. So I'm still going to identify my original slope, which is 1/2. From there, we're going to make it the opposite reciprocal. So we're going to have 2/1, which has to be negative because it started off as positive. And then we do not need that 1, so our new slope is going to be -2. Okay, so then I'm going to still use that same given point. So I have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to plug in each part, where it goes. Okay, so I'm going to have y minus 1 equals -2 times x minus 4. Okay, then we're going to do our distributive property. So I have -2x plus 8. Then I'll bring down my left side. Then I add 1 to both sides. Then we have y equals -2x plus 9. So this will be our equation that is perpendicular to the one they gave us. So last thing I want you to do, we're going to double check this in Desmos. So I want you to open up a tab and go to Desmos. We're going to X out of these other functions because we're done with them. And let's check this problem here. So my original equation is y equals 1/2 x. You might want to let's go to the right so that our equation doesn't get messed up. Okay, so that's my original equation, and my answer was y equals -2x plus 9. So if I'm right, first off, it should be perpendicular, meaning it's crossing at a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to check our point. So it says it needs to go through the point 4, 1. All right, so let's see. Did it plot it on the blue line? Yes, it's here. So we know we are right because those two lines are perpendicular, and that second line crosses through the point 4, 1. Okay, so please make sure you guys upload your notes. And yeah, we'll probably do some IXL tomorrow. You can go ahead and get started if you want to, but it won't be due until tomorrow. All righty.